I would hate for you not to look better.
Virgo.
Virgo.
Okay. You know what my magic needs, Michelle? There's a lot of people online who say it's geeky. Like there's this one guy, Pig Face or Cake Face or whatever his name is, who's always trying to show that magicians are really geeky. They're not cool whatsoever. So I'm trying to put some danger into my magic, okay? As much danger as I can for a guy with a lunchbox. Now, it is a card trick, but it's a card trick with a knife. You get to pick a card with a knife today. I stole that from the kitchen drawer. Don't tell the wife when she comes back. The first thing she'll say is, isn't that my knife from the kitchen drawer? Okay, so I'm trying to inflict a little bit of danger in with the magic. So, it's very simple. What I'm gonna do to make it exciting is I'm just gonna go like that with the cards, and you're gonna pick one with the knife. Now don't stab me. As exciting as that would be, you two would make me take it down. So you take the knife, okay? I'll riffle them. Right there, okay?
Right there.
That's your card you want. Pick the knife up, don't stab yourself in doing so. Let's see what we got. Oh, perfect, we got a king, okay? So, okay, what we'll do to make it more exciting is this'll be the evil king. What should we name him? Evil King Justin? You want it to be Justin?
Fuck yeah.
Now listen, you do want it to be Justin. So he is subjugating his people by taxing them into poverty because they need to burn carbon to keep their children from freezing at home and to be able to get to work and such and such. So it's actually, can you see that on camera? It's actually Evil King Justin. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take Justin and let's put Justin in his kingdom, living the life, and I'm going to be the knight in shining armor, and of course this is going to be my trusty sword. What do they call it? Do they name their swords? I never read any of those books. I was too busy practicing magic tricks. Okay, so let's shuffle up the cards, like so. And we're going to slay the evil King Justin, okay? So I'm gonna balance the cards on my trusty sword. I'm gonna hold the balance of the kingdom on my trusty sword, just like that. And 1, 2, 3. I slay
Very nice.
the nasty King Justin. Ta-da! Glad to see you back with me on the Sunday Morning Magic Show. I'm glad to be back with you. I hope you're glad to be back with me. Had a little vacation. I hope some of you are getting some summer vacation. And, oh look, I've got a nasty hole right here in my shirt. It's huge. But I'm a magician, and I can fix it with a little bit of rubbing like that. And look at that. Now, it's gone. Anyway, yeah, glad to be back. Had a little vacay. Hope some of you are getting a vacay. I want to make this quick because this week I've got my tutorial, and even if you know the trick, I think the tutorial might be useful, and I sure would like to know if I should do more tutorials. And not all the time. I'm not a big magic reveal guy. I think in the context of the show, you can teach tricks like this. But I don't even know if there's a point to my adding to the pile of tutorials out there. What I was driving home in this tutorial, which is why I think it's a little longer than it would typically be for this kind of trick, is A, it's not about the sequence, it's not about the sleights, it's about the story. The point of this trick that I really like is, think of it this way. And this is what I'm talking about, if you didn't see it, is the kissing jokers, where the two jokers help put pairs back together, traditionally with a king and the queen, the way I teach it. I performed it, of course, as part of my joker routine with a bunch of different jokers from different decks, and I just took the split back cards and put the backs all the same because they have to be that way, blah, blah, blah. The point here is, if you think of those cards as being blank cards, where you write a word or a picture in different colored pens, like you could come up with almost any story to justify the plot, the theme, which is cards that match get separated, and you're trying to show that you're showing them very freely separated, and then boom, magically they're back together. It's kind of neat, but it's a bit, especially with 4 pairs, it's a bit of a long sequence. Even if you keep it moving, it seems a little bit oversold to allow the sequencing and the math and the sleights to all work together. So it's a perfect example of, you can make a great trick by having a good story. All good magic is driven by a story. It doesn't even have to be a good story. I mean, I'm a huge David Copperfield fan, and a lot of his stories were so schmaltzy and silly, it's even I as a kid knew that they were schmaltzy and silly. But I liked them. I liked the suspension of disbelief, because the story helped me really relate to the effects that were going on, and he used the story to justify the shenanigans that had to go on to make the magic work a lot of the time. So it logs what actually happened in the spectator's memory, so it makes it memorable, other than it just being a bunch of puzzles that can be confusing. They might be entertaining for a moment at the time, but if there's no story, if there's no obvious driven story, you can't remember them afterwards, and it's not art. It's just a trick. It's just a puzzle. I mean, if that's all you're into, that's all you're into. Far be it from me to say why you should be doing magic and that there's anything wrong with just being good at sleight of hand. But I find that when you drive the trick with a story, you get away with a lot more. Not that I like to do sloppy sleight of hand, but I'm not trying to, I've never said I'm the best sleight of hand guy around. I love practicing till I have it, but I will also do a little bit of sloppiness just for the sake of not overselling the fact that I'm tricking you with sleight of hand. So, long story short, there needs to be a story. I think a good story is what makes good magic. Not because you're selling the idea of the story, but because it's integral, just like the sleight of hand, just like a wrist kill to cover a pinky break and da-da-da-da-da. It makes it, when you're showing a bunch of cards over and over again, if there's no story, then it's just a puzzle. And that's fine. That's fine for friends and family and for showing on YouTube and that. But if you actually want to perform as a magician and enjoy performing magic in the way that caught you when you first saw it, and when you see magic that you really like, you'll notice there's a story. Like even my guy Pigface there that I was joking about earlier, Pigcake, he even in his crude way, in his crude style, when he's teaching a trick and showing a trick, there's a story. There's always a kind of a plot theme which resolves. The story matters. It really does matter, and that's what I'm trying to drive home in the tutorial. So before I completely ramble on like I usually do, let's get right to the tutorial. I'm not coming back, but please let me know what you liked, what you didn't like about the tutorial, and whether, so I can shape whether it's something that I want to do from time to time. I'm not going to do it every week, but from time to time I do like to flush out something about a trick that I really like, because it makes it easier for me to remember. It's almost like making notes for myself, making a tutorial for you. That's it. See you again next week. More contests to come. Lots of good stuff. Peace out. Okay, tutorial time. The trick is obviously based on the old Kissing Jokers, I think it was called. I think that's what Trinity was reminding me of, where you use not jokers like I did. I had the backs of bicycle cards separated and pasted on to different jokers from different decks for my storyline. But the original story is kings and queens. They get separated and then you match them up again. So they're laid out in the sequence of king, queen, king, queen, king, queen, king, queen, matching pairs like that. If these were blank cards, you could tell almost any story you wanted, using different colored pens, different words, drawings, colors, whatever. But have a good story. Have this driven by a good story, focusing on why they were paired, that the pair got pulled apart and why, and that the pair is coming back together again. It sells the fact that you're using 2 cards to bring them back together. In this case, of course, the Jokers, which I reveal after I mix these cards the first time. There's a reason for that. So, the mix. The first thing you need to do is get the Queen to the bottom of the pile before you start laying out these pairs. So, it's a perfect time to introduce the idea that the 2 cards got separated. You can have the story about this lovely couple was separated for whatever reason. One cheated on the other. There was a terrible fight in the kingdom, whatever you want, using whatever cards you want, but have a good story that emphasizes that they were separated at this point when you separate them. Then you're showing disparaging pairs. So it's not really a mix, but it does sort of look like a mix, but you're showing that they're mixed. Disparaging pairs. That's where I take the pause and reveal that this is 2 cards, 2 Jokers. They're going to lead the story, and I'm going to start the emphasis that there are 2 separate Jokers, which incidentally need to match. Not one of the colorless Jokers and a colored Joker. These Jokers need to match, okay? And you're going to constantly emphasize that there's 2 of them, because you're not going to be showing 2. You're going to be using 1 as your magic card and showing 1 as 2 over and over again. So you're going to need to start by it only works if you emphasize that there are 2 Jokers and that the story is about the separation and the coming back together. Otherwise, we're just constantly showing them the cards over and over again in some weird way for no real reason, and then they come back in pairs, and it's just a little puzzle then. It looks like magic if there's a story and you emphasize that there's 2 here and those have been separated from their matching pair. So don't be shy to have a good story and emphasize it. Okay, so there's the pause, I show these, then we do another fake mix by taking 2 of the top cards, right? So you're gonna put 2 bottom cards on top and 2 top cards and put them on the bottom. You can do it any way you want, right? So you're taking 2 to put them to the bottom, right? And you're taking 2 from the bottom, and you're not changing the order of anything. You're taking 2, putting them to the bottom, right? And taking the other 2 and putting them on top. So you're not really changing any order. The order remains solid because it's 2 to the bottom and 2 to the top. And you can do it as many times as you want. I only do it once to keep the trick moving along and not long and boring like this explanation. Then I turn them back face up so everybody sees you're not hiding anything and they are mixed. And that's when you steal a Joker. So you're stealing a Joker by leaving those a little bit messy and catching a little pinky break, which I'm exaggerating here for the camera. But you want to catch a little break or do a double lift, but I think that looks faker. You just catch a little pinky break, and with a little wrist kill, it's not even noticed. And as you square these guys up face up, you're stealing that Joker off the top of the other one. You're stealing it, and before it's obvious that you may have stolen a card, you're turning the other one face down and emphasizing that you're turning both of them down. Don't forget to emphasize that you're turning both of them down. It should still flow with your patter, but you should make a point of saying you're turning both of them down. It's about 2s. Everything's 2s, 2s, 2s. Okay, the justification of that is that you're going to lay out these pairs. So you're separating them from the pairs by turning them face down and holding them like that. To further justify how you just did that in order to steal a Joker, okay, you're going to count like this. 1, 2, turn them face down, and then lay them like that. That's also going to help cover up that the last set of pairs you lay, you're going to do a little bit of monkey business. You'll see what I mean. So if you do them like this, it's not going to look so different when you do the last set. In the last set, you need to pick up all 3 of these cards first. So again, get a little pinky break going. I do it with the index finger. You do it however you want. You could do a triple lift. I always find that hesitation and making sure you have 3 and then turning them over looks fishy. So I just do a big sloppy pinky break, which nobody seems to care about the fact that you bend the cards a little. Like, it seems to fly by easier than the pause. Pauses in the timing seem to be something that draws the skeptical eye quicker than sloppy handling. So, little pinky break, and I flip all 3 over and then just put them out like that. So it looks a little different than what you just did, but it keeps the flow moving. It looks like you're just finishing up quick, but it doesn't look that different because you kept flipping the other 2 over and laying them like that. Okay, so now you've got a joker on the bottom and a face card. You're going to want to reverse them, so it's a perfect time to emphasize that you still have 2 jokers. Don't run when you're not being chased. If you try to do this really quick, they're going to think you did something funny. Did he just show me 2 jokers? Why did he do that so quick? The frustration count, I do it slow. I show 1, lick my thumb casually, grab that and show it again, and then lay them down separate like that. Again, 2-2. I showed you 2 jokers. There's 2 cards. I don't put them together on top of each other, and then when I go to get the first pile, separate them. I think it's better after showing 2 jokers to sit them like that and emphasize the 2. Okay, you can show all 3 of these pairs, but you can't show the final pair. So to keep it moving, but to take advantage of the fact that you can show most of the pairs, I show every second one. So it's sort of justified. I show you these 2 and not these 2. It just seems like you do it to keep the thing moving, but you're still able to show them disparaging pairs. And then you put them in the middle, right? You're just taking the pair of them and you're putting them in the middle in your little stack, okay? Your joker's on top. You square them up, and it's just your typical Elmsley. You show your joker. As it goes under, you push off 2, right? As per an Elmsley, and you pinch the joker, the 1 joker in the pile back to the bottom, and then over, and show it again for the second time as if it's the other joker. Then you do a stop and some kind of magic move to justify why you picked up the cards and just showed them again. The magic move will justify that. No matter how simple it is, a flick, whatever, it will justify you having picked them up again. If you don't do a move at this point and just go 1, 2, 3, 4 with your fake Elmsley count, put the 2 down again, there's no reason for it. It just looks like a puzzle. Okay, so you lay those 2 down. Now that they've been matched up, you lay them down without showing them. The next 2 you don't show. You just slide them in. Do your Elmsley count, right? 3, 4, magic move. And in my magic move, I kept switching which corner I was holding and flicking the other ones. So subliminally, it kind of looks like you're actually doing something. I made the point of teaching myself to switch which corners I held every time. Those little things seem to make a difference. When I don't do them, I don't get as big a reaction. So you've done your magic move. Again, your pairs are down. Show this pair because you can and really emphasize it. Disparaging pairs, you're driving it home one last time. This time I only show the top one and then I just count through. I don't show it again. You can if you want, but I don't, just to add a little bit of mix and mystery, because I'm going to do it one more time here. And I don't want to overdo that move, showing that there's 2 jokers, 1 on top and 1 on the bottom. I don't want to milk it too much. So I leave it out here. Do my magic move, boom, boom, boom. Put my pair down. And then one last time, right? I'm showing the 1 joker, Elmsley, 3, bang, boom. Oh, don't forget your magic move. And there's 2 matching pairs, right? Now for the big reveal, first I show the jokers. Again, 2. So by showing these 2 jokers first the way I just did,
right? By going to the trouble of doing this and this, you're emphasizing again that you always had two jokers. That's the way they're going to remember it, not your fake showing of it. So by skipping this one and the other things, it drives home that you were always holding two jokers and putting two disparaging cards in between. And then you do the reveal big. Instead of showing one at a time, I do it in pairs. Okay? I do it in pairs like that. So pause, and then you have a pair again. So two big reveals in pairs, because you've emphasized that you have two jokers, and you always had two jokers because you're ending clean with two jokers. You might as well take advantage of the fact that you're ending clean with two jokers and you don't need another move before the reveal. So the reveal can just be boom, boom. And that's basically it. Again, all I can tell you is you follow the sequence and you know how to do an Elmsley and a slow frustration, and you've got this. What makes it work is the story. I've used different types of stories. I'm testing the Joker, siblings separated when they're removed from their family, the deck, because my theme is the orphan Jokers. One of them ends up in a drawer, one ends up in the garbage. My Jokers that are trained to bring them back together, I'm just testing that story, but I have noticed that the better story you have, and the more you have created the story yourself, you've built up the story, you've built up your own pattern, the more it seems to sell the trick. And it's a damn powerful trick, which is probably why it's been around for so long. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you try it.